Today's guest is Brooke Deboer, a life coach, speaker, and author of Living of the Free Life. Brooke journey is one of deep transformation from enduring bullying and emotional abuse to rebuilding her life, choosing healing, and now guiding others towards self-love, freedom, and purpose. It's really a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you. It's my pleasure as well. I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah, thank you. It's a pleasure having you. Sure. Also, Brooke, looking back, what earlier experience or event first shape how you saw yourself and the world around you?
Gosh, lots of them actually over a long period of time. I had lots of bullying when I was in school. And I also then experienced some unhealthy, toxic relationships as I got a little bit older. And I ended up at one point, I think just the accumulation of all of these experiences and negative voices affected my confidence. And as I got older, I had a harder time seeing that I deserved to be treated well. And so I ended up in relationships that were not good for me. They weren't necessarily healthy, and ultimately ended up becoming a single mother when I was around 24 years old and needed to figure out a new approach to life because when I figured out I was going to be a mom, I realized how important it was to make some changes so that I could be a good mom for her and healthy myself. So that was probably the biggest turning point for me. And then there were other turning points as I grew and continued to grow uh, in the years following having my daughter. I now have three daughters and I've been married for 26 years. So I figured out how to enter into a healthy relationship many years ago. And all the work has really paid off.
Amazing. At what your challenges stop being something you were simply enduring and become something that forced you to make life-changing decisions?
That's a great question. I think, like I said, when I had my daughter or knew that I was going to have my daughter, I became very serious about figuring out my mental health and what direction I wanted to go with my life because I wanted to be a good example and a good mother to her. So I think that was the point. But I think that it's been a continual process of healing and growth because a lot of those voices from the bullying and the abuse and different things stuck with me and they would resurface. And so it became a process that I had of awareness, having awareness, taking time to figure out how I'm feeling about various things, making sure that I'm thinking about things in a healthy way, and I'm asking for help when I need it. So now it's a practice in my life.
Wow, wow, amazing. I think it's lovely being that our practice was being bettered out from the struggles that now help you, not just help you alone, help those who you actually more like help too. And yeah, it's amazing. So, there are any unexpected people, opportunity, or experience that play a role in changing your direction?
Yeah, there were lots of wonderful people in my healing experience. It was interesting because at one point when I was a little bit older, after I had had my daughter, I got married to a good man and down the road and then had two other daughters and was just living my life, but had a health challenge because I think when you've been through trauma, a lot of times you overfunction. This is one of the responses to trauma is you try really hard at everything you do and I just had
Yeah.
exhausted myself. So I had a health challenge and I went to see my doctor and he ended up becoming much more than a doctor to me, just a very loving, kind mentor, teaching me how to relearn how to take care of myself. Actually, I never really knew how to do that. So he started with telling me that, he acknowledged my feelings because it was more than just the physical going on. And he was warm and kind. So I was able to speak with him very openly and shared with him some of the trauma that I was holding on to. And he acknowledged it very specifically, which allowed me to take the next steps, which were to listen to him. And he suggested that I go get therapeutic massage he suggested to my husband that I take a time off of working and doing the dishes and doing all the things that I do just to get a break so that I could heal and get better physically and mentally. And, it wasn't forever. I like to work. I like to be productive. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but I think when you're somebody who's been through a lot of trauma and you have a physical problem as a result of the trauma, it's important to take the time to heal so that you can become better and then serve others again in your family or however you do that. So that
Wow,
was quite a process.
amazing. So does it mean one can use busyness as a coping mechanism when going through trauma, other than taking time out to heal from that particular situation?
Just like how some people, they drink alcohol or they do drugs or I don't know, there's so many different things. Hard work, or being a workaholic can also be a distraction from looking at your heart and doing the healing work that you need to do. So I think you're exactly right. It can be a coping mechanism, and sometimes that works against you because it doesn't get rid of the trauma or the pain. It just sort of removes your focus from it temporarily.
So what was one of the most difficult challenges that tested your commitment to healing, and how did you navigate it?
There have been so many different ones. I think, the most recent one that I've struggled with is what they call, you probably have heard people talk about this, imposter syndrome, where when it came time for me to become a coach, even before I became a life coach, I didn't really believe that I didn't believe in myself 100%. It's like I knew inside I had something that I could give to others in a way that I could help them, but I was afraid to step out and do it. So I think the fear of failure and the fear of not being good enough to do something that I really felt like I was prepared to do, I guess, was a big barrier for me. It was really difficult to publish my book as well. I published a book in 2024 called Living the Free Life, and it was all about my story. And I think just that vulnerability of sharing my personal story was really scary to do when it came time to do it. But I knew that I was being led to do it. I felt like God was telling me, this is the time for you to share so that you can help others, and you can help others not feel alone in their healing process. But it was also really, really scary. And I'd say that's probably true my whole entire life. When I've had things that God is telling me, this is what I have for you. This is the job for you to do. And I would always find like a little distraction or maybe even something not so healthy to kind of take away from stepping out and doing that thing. And finally, what I learned is that's fear. That was fear coming up and trying to prevent me from moving forward and growing and being the best person that I could be. So I think that's probably my biggest hurdle that I've had to learn to recognize and overcome over time.
Overcome fear and overcome our self-imposed our syndrome. Wow, that was really amazing. So how did your journey as a coach get started? And what was it like then? And how did you master the courage to show off regardless and being able to provide solutions for your clients?
Well, I think I was healing myself. And after I worked with my doctor, my physical health started to get better. This was later. I had, all the kids at this time. So this wasn't when I first had the crisis where I knew that I was going to become a single mom and everything. It was a little bit later on down the road where some of the trauma just was living in me and not totally healed. So then I had the health crisis, and then I went to the doctor. And then after the, situation with the doctor and the mentoring and the teaching about self-care, I started to really take that quite seriously. And I started to do what I called a year of Brooke, which was just a year of blogging about how to take care of myself, getting to know myself, and sharing about it like almost like a public journal. So I shared blog posts on my website at the time. I didn't really know or believe that I could be a coach at this time, but I was sharing about my experience of healing, and I was doing the work myself. And then when 2020 hit and everybody was stuck at home, and I had done really well with the healing and I was feeling much more confident, something came across my email from Tony Robbins' organization. And I don't know if you know who he is, but he's a
Yeah.
very famous coach. And he's been kind of a through line in my story, too, because when I was a teenager, I used to have the cassette tapes of his teachings. And so I used to listen to him a long time ago. And I felt like this was timing that couldn't be denied. I felt like it was the right time. And God was telling me, take the course, just do the course and see how you feel. So I took it, and it was transforming me even more. And I thought, well, I can do this because they gave me the tools to help people. So I opened up my coaching practice just after COVID, and I started serving women. And it was interesting because I put it out online, but I ended up serving a lot of women just in my small town in Oregon. And I still am coaching some of those women, and I feel very good about the changes that a lot of these women have been able to make with the tools that I received from that training. And it was the coaching and actually working with women that gave me the confidence to write the book, because I saw how the things I was sharing were helping people, and I wanted to help more people.
Amazing. So, from your experience, will you say experience you went through, having to kind of go through bullying and missing out from relationship at first before getting it right? Will you say those particular moments actually shape you into who you are today in coaching?
Well, I think it's a lot easier to coach people when you've been through something similar. It
Yeah.
doesn't mean I've been through the same things that all my clients have gone through, but I also believe that you can coach people having not gone through trauma, probably, if you had the Tony Robbins coaching tools, because it applies to many different scenarios that somebody might go through in their life. But I think it helps the compassion component. I feel like you can really identify things maybe even a little bit quicker if you've been through it yourself. And I just feel like it's given me the why for what I do, because probably if I hadn't been bullied or in a toxic relationship, I wouldn't be coaching people, I don't think. I'd be doing something totally different. And it gave me the heart for people because I knew how bad it felt to feel the way that I felt when I was being bullied, and the mean things that people were saying, and the unkindness and the isolation, and feeling like I wasn't good enough. All of those things made me feel like I have to step out and do something because I don't want anyone else to ever feel the way that I felt. And
Yeah, amazing. Thank you so much for sharing. Also, talk to us about some of the insight from your book, Living the Free Life. I think it's very, very key when it comes to your coaching, not just helping people heal alone. And I know through the book, a whole lot of people get healing through it.
so my book takes you on a little bit of a journey. It's basically, it starts out with my story. So that way, hopefully, I can connect to the reader in some way with some part of my story. And then the second third of the book, and throughout the book, I should say, at the end of each chapter, there are reflection questions. So even while I'm sharing my story, I help the reader think about their own life and their own experiences by providing these questions at the end of each chapter to reflect on where they're at right now. And then in the second part of the book, I kind of give information. I share information about what a healthy relationship looks like, what an unhealthy relationship looks like, the different forms of abuse and bullying. So people might be able to better identify what it is that they're going through. I think it's really important. Sometimes it's super confusing. I don't think we're designed to understand mistreatment, bullying, or abuse. I think most people are good and they have good hearts. And it's really surprising when you get caught up into something like that. You don't really know
Yeah.
all that's at work, and a lot of times it's manipulation, or it's, emotional manipulation, or it's you're scared and afraid for yourself, your life, or your family, or your children. And so I think it kind of gives people tools and information. And then in the last part of the book, I provide coaching tools on how you can I also share some relatable stories of other famous people that have been through bullying. So people understand, even people that have accomplished a ton in their life, they don't necessarily have to be famous, but have experienced some of these things and been able to overcome it. So I provide encouragement throughout the book. And then the tools at the end are a lot of the things that I use with my coaching clients. And there are specific things like how to evaluate your friendships and the health of your friendships and your relationships in your life. There's some tools on focusing in on the things that are really important to you and how to let go of limiting beliefs and replace those with empowering beliefs. So there's a lot of tools in the book that can really help you take from where you are, take the place that you are and heal, and then from there begin to look forward and dream a little bit about what the life is that you want to create. And I walk you through a process.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you so much for sharing. Look, how can they reach out to you and where's the best platform?
The best way is there's two. TheBrookeDeboer.com is my website. So I don't know if you'll have a link or something that you could write that for people. I can spell it too if you want me to. And then on Instagram, I'm at Free Brooke. The word free, FreeBrooke. So you can just connect with me there. I accept direct messages. So if somebody's interested in coaching or has some questions about the book, and then my book is on Amazon and it's called Living the Free Life.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you so much, Deboer. Yeah, this has really been amazing and just speak volumes to the fact that going through a whole lot of tough times, through bullying, and then getting it wrong relationship, and later getting it right. Though it might be more very painful now from the outset, but it just shows that yeah, everything worked for good. Right? Towards the latter part of it, it's lovely stories. And yeah, amazing. And definitely for my audience who would love to reach out, we'll definitely include the link to your website and the show notes, or my audience to easily reach out. Yeah, this has really been amazing. And your story just reminds us that who we have become is often shaped in the moments we are forced to choose differently through challenges, decisions, and turning points that redefine our path. Yeah, your journey shows that even in pain, we can become foundation for healing, growth, and purpose. And once again, it's really a pleasure having you on the show, bro.
Thank you. It was my pleasure too. Thank you so much.